well, it ain't no. Forget it. Oh well, enough of the intro.
Sorry.
It's your man HRap on BS3 Network. It's unofficially the takeover. It's unofficially the takeover.
Yes.
We're rebranding with a 2Cast with Wilks and HRap.
2Cast.
Yep. The other two guys, we canceled their contracts.
Yeah, we ripped them up. Sorry.
But as the host of the show always says, we review movies from a different perspective. It's two of us this evening. Tonight we're gonna do what we call a throwback, and the throwback is Boomerang. It's one of the. It is a class. It is classic black cinema. It is perfect for the Fourcast. And what we'll do tonight is dissect it. Hopefully, you guys will entertain and engage with us, be a part of the show. And we definitely want to read the comments. We want you guys to comment as much as humanly possible. We have a lot of fun with this because this is one of the greatest, in my opinion, this is one of Eddie Murphy's crown jewels. Thank you for tapping in. Wilks, talk to me, man. How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good. I'm excited about this movie. Anytime I watch this movie, I just feel like it's another coming of Black Renaissance. I mean, just from the clothes they're wearing, the style, the music, it's just one of those things where, and I felt like Eddie Murphy has always been that guy that wanted to be stylish.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, even in Another 48 Hours, he's in a double-breasted suit. You know, I mean,
right out the penitentiary.
Yeah. Trading places. You know, he dressing nice. When he's doing his stand-up, he's in all leather, red leather. I mean, he's in a suit, you know, leather suit, whatever. So I felt like he was always in tune with fashion. I feel like that was his thing. I think music was also his thing. I mean, I know he dropped an album, but I think he enjoyed music, but he was always just fly and stylish. So, I mean, and then just like seeing the ladies in this, like how they wore their hair and how they dressed and the way they walked and presented themselves. I mean, from lights to dark skin to medium tone. I mean, it was done really well, and I love watching this because it holds up. I mean, even Halle Berry rocking the short cut with the earring. I mean, it was in that moment. I mean, you just thought about, you know, how many times you've seen that in hip hop videos growing up, and rap videos, and Naughty by Nature and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think it really captured that. Yeah, absolutely.
Good comment by my man Mo. He said he's a true New Yorker.
Oh, absolutely.
My initial thoughts with this is the exact same thing. This captured the time. It captured the fashion. Came out in 1992, and this is what we look like in 1992. They look like I was. I was dressed like this.
I wasn't dressed like that in 92, but I got it. Yeah.
But I used to see it.
Oh yes.
But, you know what? One of the things, like you mentioned, Halle Berry, from her walking out in Strictly Business with Tommy Davidson.
Yeah.
I forgot the cat name from the Cosby Show who played Denise's husband later on.
Oh yes, yeah.
She has been glamour girl. She has been one of the most beautiful women in the world. What I truly appreciate about this, she was equally beautiful, but they toned her down to the point whereas they can make someone else shine. And this, it's one of the wonderful parts of the movie. It shows you how you can be high fat. They show Black people from every perspective. Right. You have people at the top of the gambit with Robin Givens and Eddie Murphy. all the way down to the guy in the mail room. Everybody in the building looked like us. This is a question. Was this the first time we've ever seen 100% Black people in high positions all across the screen? Not a Black guy with a management position, not a Black guy in a VP position. Everybody in the building was Black. Talk to me.
For me, yes, because like I said, growing up watching this on VHS, and when even a billboard. I mean, I remember the billboards and seeing Eddie Murphy with the bow tie and the suit, and it was just like, man, this is definitely fly right here. So it was one. Put that back up there. No.
Who we talking about?
Born in 92? No, 81. Wow. This was amazing, man. I mean, just seeing how they were dressing and just how they were well kept, and even the spaces they lived in. I mean, even Martin, even his spot was still pretty dope. I mean, it wasn't no penthouse or whatever or something crazy, but I mean, it was decent. He was doing it, So, but it was definitely, I enjoyed this, and seeing, like I said, seeing a Black, pretty much, I felt like pretty much Black ran company in production, in producing, in marketing. Definitely big, definitely huge. I mean, sends a message, and like I said, every time I watched this, I just felt like it was like another Black Renaissance, like another women empowerment movement. Black men finding their way in corporate America and stuff like that, and establishing themselves. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely one of those movies where I just enjoy seeing it. It holds up very well. Ben on the Mai Tais, he drunk, but what's on Ben? No, just kidding.
One of the other temptations. What's up, Ben? Before you make the other statement, I want you guys to make sure you hit that like, hit that share. If you're on Facebook, do the same thing. Leave a comment. Please engage. I'm going to do what Ben normally does, and I'm making knowledge of the people who have come into the chat room. Please participate in the chat room. Yeah. It's important. That's what makes the show go. We got Maurice Nesbitt. We got Big Mo. I gave that man whole government name. We got Big Mo. We got Warren White. Yeah, I'm giving his whole name. Yeah. I'm giving his whole name. I got my man Alex, 1/5 of the Fab Five.
Salute.
I got what's that? Walter LaShawn Walker. I know who that is. That's Keisha.
She got 1,000 different names, man.
Walker LaShawn. Knock it off.
She got 1,000 different names, man.
Right. So we got my little bro Wanga in the building. I got my man Kirby Alexander. And back to Walker LaShawn. Skip y'all with all the bull talking about Grace Jones and
Strange, Lestrange.
Yeah, man. As you were saying, man, this was the excellence of. This is the introduction to the world to Black excellence. We knew we had this in us. This is as close as we've gotten. Yeah. Even since up until this day, let me know what you think about this. And people in the chat room, let me know what you think about this. As close as we've got to a Black exploitation movie since this. You go from the 70s to 1992, Black exploitation or Black excellence. Either way you want to put it, it was Black people in the building from top to bottom, left to right. And even something I learned as I was doing the research on this, the story was even by Eddie Murphy. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like I said, out of the number of times I've watched it, I didn't really catch that. I mean, it stood out, but it was like, oh, okay, well, I guess this is Eddie thing, but oh Lord, Texas Warrant Roundup. It was definitely one of these things where it was. I saw this and I was just like, man, this is one of those things where it's like it just captured a lot of things for me. And the fact that Eddie Murphy had these ideas in his mind and he saw these things, and who knows what else he may have written that he hadn't produced yet or given to a studio. Hey, maybe him and Tyler Perry one day will probably collab on something, because if he's got this, and because even the Vampire in Brooklyn, I think it's another story by Eddie Murphy. I think he wrote that. So it's just interesting to see in what he has that hasn't come to the cutting floor. It was one of those things where it's just like, man, Eddie is once again he single-handedly saved SNL.
Yeah.
I mean, who else was saving? He was saving. He pretty much saved SNL. So who knows the plethora and things that he's written and shared and had ideas and had his hand in. So yeah, the dude is definitely a master of his craft.
Mm-hmm. I got Anthony Madison in the building. What's up, Anthony? Excuse me. DJ Mad, not Anthony Madison. That's
wow, man. You all know government names today, man. What's happening, man?
Hey, man. Anthony and Warren. Bang, bang, bang. Yes, indeed. And that brings me to a point that I was about to make. I'm going to back off your point, and then I'm going to go
go ahead.
To the point. Yes. One of the things I truly like about Eddie Murphy, when I was a kid, me and Eddie Murphy's career and my life kind of go along at the same time. I'm going into puberty as Eddie Murphy takes over the world. And so Eddie Murphy was like a minor league hero of mine, even though I love
absolutely
that nature, I wanted to be like Eddie Murphy. And your statement brought me to this interview that I saw. They asked him, him and Spike Lee was having a back and forth. And he was like, one of the reasons I don't really deal with a lot of black directors is because a lot of brothers and sisters don't want to step outside the box. They want to make things that are inside the box. He said it leads you to Pluto Nash and other movies that he made that are duds and considered duds. But if you only get a chance to you only hit the shots that you take. And I appreciate him making those horrible movies like Holy Man and with the 1,000 words with the leads. Yeah, he could have kept those, but I appreciate the fact that he attempted. I'm listening.
Yeah, I think that's what like you said. I think you step out when you're the master of your craft. I mean, we see it in music. We got people covering songs you never thought they would cover songs. You're like, man, that's not your lane, but maybe somebody likes it. Somebody will catch it. But I think Eddie Murphy, once he, maybe those are things that he's had, like you said, inspired while growing up. Hey, I want to do these things. Mm-hmm. It may not go over well. It might blow up in my face, but at least I put it out there. And who knows? Yeah, and who knows? Decades later, it becomes a cult classic for some people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Poonie Tang.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, a lot of people hate it, but people like myself, they truly enjoy it and they embrace it. Big Mo, what a great comment. Eddie Murphy is no stranger to weaving black excellence with comedy. Harlem Nights. Yeah, exactly. Boomerang, Coming to America. Exactly. You are looking, if Hollywood was truly about making money and exclusively about making money, you would grab more Eddie Murphys, more Tyler Perry's, more Spike Lee's. You would give Ryan Coogler more money. But it's this power dynamic that they can't get past. And the holes.
They can't have you showing them up. They can't have you showing them up. Yeah.
If it was about the paper, Eddie Murphy, and then if it was about the paper, then you wouldn't have so many restricted minds. Another great comedian, most people don't even know this, he received a $20 million deal to make movies at Richard Pryor. Because of his short-sightedness, he didn't make two of the best movies of the 80s.
Yeah.
The first, arguably the best movie of the 80s, The Color Purple, and the second one, Purple Rain.
Yeah.
He refused both of those movies. I'm like, we don't want to see no black movies like that anymore. So we have to expand our mind. We have to put ourselves in a position to excel no matter what. But I commend Eddie Murphy again on having the ability to fail, because one of his proteges, which is Chris Rock, said this: I as a black creator need the ability to make a bad movie and still get money on the back end, because everything isn't going to work.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, like, you're laughing all the way to the bank. It may suck. I got some revenue from it. Now I'm gonna put that in something else. Maybe I'll put that in the production program. Maybe I'll put that into a young film class or something like, just anything like that. But yeah, I mean, it's terrible up front, but on the back end, playing the long game, it's one of those things where, hey, I had to step on a few eggs to get here, you know. But
exactly.
here I am, you know.
We got Blue Streak in the building. And Keisha just made another great point. Don't
Oh,
forget
yeah.
about the Golden Child.
Yeah.
Another individual standalone situation, which brings me to a question that me and you were talking about in the and I used to like when I was doing the end of the bench with Big Illinois and those guys. I used to call it the pre-show fist fight.
Yeah.
We were talking about the ability to when you're being creative, are we judging movies properly? We always go, the Golden Child wasn't as good as
Beverly Hills Cop or something like that.
Cop. And this is not good as Coming to America. At what point, and I would really like to hear the opinions of the people who are supporting us this evening. Yeah. Why is it that we do that? We can't say the Golden Child was a good movie. We have to say it was good, but not as good. It's like, if you were eating a sandwich, this is the best sandwich I've ever eaten because this is the only one I can taste right now.
I think to your I know they might be answering in the chat, but I think to your point, once again, I think we're looking at, Eddie Murphy has come from the precipice of these great movies. What is this Golden Child he's presenting? Which I enjoyed Golden Child. I thought it was different. And of course, you know, him playing I think he was a detective or something like that again. Kind of an investigator.
He was like
he was kind of like
an investigator. Kind of guy. Yeah.
Right. So once again, he's in that same vein of being the police officer or being the detective. Because what Metro was he a detective in Metro? So
he was a police officer in Metro. He was in in San Francisco, they don't call them detectives, they call them inspectors.
Inspector, gotcha. So yeah, I mean, he's definitely got those ideas and those roles in his mind. So go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah, he said he can live party all the time. Exactly, man. It does not have to be Thriller to be a very good album, you know. But I believe as a society, we cheat ourselves when we do these things, and when we compare. Hey, well, it's not as good as this. Well, it's not supposed to be as good as that. It's supposed to be as good as when you move. When at this time, going to the movies was $5. When you walk out of the theater, did you say, "Man, I could have kept that $5," or did you say, "Man, that was good"? And if you said that was good, that was a good movie, not compared to ... Continue to please. Thank you guys for the engagement. Please continue. David Alan Grier showed some real acting chops in this movie.
He did
in this movie too. Dude is one of the most slept-on comedians. He is. David Alan Grier is a comedic genius, as a theatrical genius. He is one of the most talented people in Hollywood, and he's always playing the background. I would love to see David Alan Grier start getting some frontline roles because he's funny. We seen earlier. I seen him as a Soldier Story with Denzel Washington. What's his name? The dude who played Heat of the Night. Townsend. I mean, that was a start for the movie, and he kicked behind in that movie. And and like Mo said, he is one of the most underrated people in all of Hollywood. And he's always seen as a sidekick. But remember, guys, Samuel Jackson for a long time was a sidekick, and now he's Samuel Jackson. Right. Let me see. Lady Eloise made. See, that's why he's warned. That's why he'll never be announced as that. Those two words, JB. He ain't never gonna be JB. But that's my man. Oh, man. I agree with Maurice. And I need Let me see. That was back when Cisco and Ebert used to do it. Yeah, Cisco and Ebert. And see, this is why we really need you guys to continue to support the Fourcast, because when you are culturally separated from everything that's going on outside of your little box, you can't accept other things. This is one of the things that angers me and other people, much like Mo and other people. We can accept 40-Year-Old Virgin. We can accept what's the movie? We're Streaking Naked. What's the name of the movie? You're My Boy Blue. I can't think of the name of it right now. But we can accept those movies. But it seems like people outside of our culture, they can't accept it. I watched and enjoyed wild, crazy Chinese people, and they were getting married. But it seems that other people, either refuse to or don't have the chops to use most colloquialism to accept what we're doing.
Right.
Now, let's go ahead and get to the movie. Let's get to the movie, and then we get back to some of these comments. We'll take it from the comment. As a Marine,
yeah. I remember that age, man. I remember that.
Now, this movie starts off introducing you to ad exec, media mogul, Marcus. What's his name? Marcus James. We don't make it.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, Marcus
James, and it shows you. It gives you the dynamic that we've seen multiple white men all across the globe play this role of the super sexy guy. He's assured of himself. He's in control of the entire room, and he walks through this office that is laden with women. One of the things that, for the first time in my life, I noticed there were no men in that office. And it was what you think when you didn't see any men?
When I saw that, I was like, okay, he's a man. He's a man of the ladies, obviously, but apparently these ladies have proven their way to get here. Mm-hmm. And he, if he's involved in any of the hiring, whatever the case is, he's gonna do. I want sexy ladies. I want smart ladies. I want well-dressed ladies, and I think there's nothing wrong with that, because obviously some of these ladies had powerful positions. Obviously Robin Givens, but even some of her, I guess not clientele, but some of her, that were with her and kind of under her, but they were still in positions to get things moving, to get things done. So, and of course, that could also be a symbol to show that women do get things done when you get them collectively together, working on, not tearing each other down. But whatever. It's one of those things where when I saw that, I was like, man, what world is this? Because nobody bickering and fighting and gouging each other's eyes out.
You know what? That was something I really appreciated, because they came together saying, look at old Marcus. He's a nice looking guy. And when Marcus was getting kicked in his head by Robin Givens, they was like, that's what you get. Yeah. But as you stated, and I would love, like, women empowerment is a thing that's at the forefront of America right now.
I think this movie embraced that. I think, especially in those serious scenes with Halle Berry kind of checking Marcus, kind of telling him about himself. Mm-hmm. That was definitely a woman's moment and a movement. And then you have pretty much Toni Braxton with the album that kind of had some, some undertones of, I can free myself of this. There don't have to be a recurring pattern. It was definitely, and of course, Robin Givens in her position. But it was definitely one of those things. Eartha Kitt doing her thing in a powerful position. Grace Jones in a powerful position.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, and what we did, something that we didn't address, what we haven't addressed yet, is the fact that men are in subservient positions across the board. Yeah. Robin Givens tells Eddie Murphy what to do, but Eddie Murphy tells the men what to do. And guess what? You didn't see a woman. You didn't see Halle Berry answering to David Alan Grier or Martin Lawrence. Nope. Everybody was answering the women, which I personally believe, being a person who grew up in a single parent home, being a person who was raised by, for the most part, when you're in the Black community, for whatever reason, you tend to have more aunts than uncles. I think this was an homage to Eddie Murphy's mother and his aunts, because you always hear him talk about his aunts. You never really hear him talk about his aunts.
Yeah, very much so. It was. Very much so. I mean, once again, it's one of those putting women in powerful positions, putting women in positions that, hey, they earn this position, even though I may have had an interview or chose these ladies, but they still showed themselves, like, hey, I belong here too. I belong at the table. I got something to bring. And that's why I felt like this was it was another renaissance for Black people, but definitely like a liberation for Black women. Like, I felt like this, hey, we're not taking the back seat. We're not taking the back burner. We here, we out front, and this is what we're going to do.
Yes, and that's something that Jungle Brother said. He's echoing the ringing of the bell for David Alan Grier, because he is a unsung actor. And here's the crazy part. This is a guy who graduated from Yale University, one of the most prestigious universities and institutions on earth. They have one of the greatest theatrical programs in America. You got people like what's her name? I'm losing my mind today. I can only see her face. She was in How to Get Away with Murder. I can't think of her name.
Your girl.
Yeah, my girl. And that's my girl. It's stuck up for a bunch of times on the program and cannot think of her name.
Viola Davis.
I want to call her Shonda Rhimes, but that is not her name.
Is it Viola Davis?
Viola Davis. Viola Davis graduated.
Your girl, man. Your girl.
And that's my girl. And I couldn't think of her name. I could see her face.
Yeah.
I'm naming all the movies I've seen her in my mind. And I said Viola Davis. And he was right in that ilk. And guess what? He came out a classic trained actor, started hanging out with Keenan Ivory Wayans, started hanging out with Eddie Murphy, and now he's one of the more well-rounded actors in the United States of America today. So thank you, Jungle Brother, for the audition. Finish what you were saying, Wills. Marcus Graham.
Marcus Graham. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. He did. Yeah, he did. I'm glad he mentioned that.
Yeah, because Wilks, ironically, thank you, Warren, because you're not going to be Jungle Brother, bro. I'm sorry. You're not going to be Jungle Brother on the program. But thank you, Warren. But Wilks mentioned this before. This, not only is this a coming out party, and this is one of the rare movies, even back then. Yeah. I know the soundtrack because it was our sound. And it may be why I don't pay attention to the score. Me and Mo and we were talking about it this week. Everybody's gotten on me, but this is one of the rare movies. Even back then, I can remember PM Dawn. I can remember Babyface. I can remember Take 7. Take 6. And all these. This was one hell of a soundtrack. It was one hell of a score. Yeah. Because I remember it because it was all us, and the fact that Babyface did it may be the key to tapping into my ear, because one of the reasons I don't tap into a lot of music in movies, and I love to hear your response to this, is because I'm an instrument guy. Yeah. And Babyface is an instrument guy. So Babyface taps into you with the guitar, the acoustic guitar,
keyboard, the piano.
The keyboard and the piano. So talk to me about that, Wilks. How?
Yeah, I felt like his sound was definitely all over, especially when they got to the Toni Braxton tracks, because she pretty much carried this movie in certain aspects. And the fact that you rolled out her debut album as a soundtrack to this movie, it was definitely one of those things where it's like you could tell, like Babyface, like you said, Babyface just has that approach with his instruments, and he captures that sound. He captures that R&B, that sultriness, and Tony. What a powerful voice! And that time was still Toni Braxton. It was perfect. I mean, it just flowed with the way they were dressing, the apartment, the way the apartments looked. The style, the hairstyles, and one thing about Babyface, he's gonna give it his all. He gonna put his foot in it. So yes, if he can, the instrument is so vital to his music. It's one of those things where he makes the instrument sing parts that he probably could not sing. So it's definitely awesome to see that.
I'm hoping Keisha, Big Wanga, and Mo's chime in on this one. This has nothing to do with the movie, because I know that music lovers, they are pure music lovers at the highest level.
Absolutely.
Is Babyface the next stage of Quincy Jones?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. No question.
And yes, I said on the platter was off the
I didn't even watch the Grammys, but just the things I caught where they were hugging him and talking to him and giving him reverence and just kind of meeting with him. They know. They know, man. Babyface is definitely
Yes.
Absolutely.
Which warms my heart simply because Quincy Jones, again, me and Mo was talking about this, Quincy Jones is one of the rare people in the history of entertainment. Mm-hmm. He was doing it in the 40s. He was doing it in the 50s. He was doing it in the 60s. He was doing it in the 70s. He did it in the 80s. Quincy Jones constructed the greatest album, financially, the greatest album in the history of music, 90s, 2000s. Look at how many people Quincy Jones has touched in his lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
Babyface, we wasn't paying attention to it, it don't seem, but Babyface was doing the same thing.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, whoa, Mo disagree. He said, "Good question. It's hard to say. It's hard to say no. Dig deep into his catalog, and that's nothing. Exactly.
Yeah,
his catalog is nothing he hadn't touched. He's one of the kings. Exactly. And absolutely. I like that the last portion of that. He's one of the kings, because I'm tired of people saying GOAT. Because if you go, he's one of the GOATs. No, that's not be one of the greatest of all time.
It's used too much.
You're right.
Yeah, it's used too.
I like that, Mo. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I totally agree with that. And let
me ask you this real quick: would Michael Jackson, if he got out of the music game, would he have been a producer like Babyface? Would he have been like, if he was producing music for other people, would have been in that same lane? I mean, I know he can't help. He loved to perform. He loved to dance. But if that time came where he had to stop, would he become an ultimate producer of songwriting and music? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know if he could do production per se, but you know what? Production in a sense of Quincy Jones, because Quincy Jones was he was an instructor. He was a vocalist. He was a sound guy.
Composing too.
He was composing. So maybe because when a couple of weeks we're gonna do the 41 Thriller thing, and then you would hear what Michael Jackson used to do, and we also know he wrote several songs for other people. So we're looking at a person who could potentially be I don't know if he would be on a Quincy Jones. He would be somewhere between Quincy Jones and Babyface. The difference in Quincy Jones and Babyface is Babyface can perform the song that he wrote and composed.
Yeah,
Quincy Jones he can't sing.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, he's giving that up to somebody else.
So my girl Trey for Trey Naturals, Chicago representing tonight.
I gotta get some beard oil from Trey Naturals, man. I gotta represent, man.
Oh yeah. So man, Michael Jackson. Where would Michael Jackson ultimately fit? Because when with the loss of Prince,
which was already
right.
Yeah.
You know, because like people don't even realize what introduced Sinead O'Connor to the world is a Prince song.
Right. Exactly.
So we'll
look. So I said Prince was already doing it. So
where would Michael Jackson fit in that? Definitely with songwriting. Definitely, I'm sure he could have instructed people on what to do. Like much like I know y'all people won't be sick of me in hip hop, but much like my man Big Daddy Kane said, he couldn't sequence beats, but he told Marty Marl to do everything that he wanted to do on his first album.
Right.
He's upset that he didn't get. He's not angry, upset. He's disappointed he didn't get production credit.
And that makes sense, because it's one of those things where, I got you. I gotta get on it. I gotta get on it. But yeah, I think it's kind of like in sports. It's like, I can't run this route, but I can show you how to run this route.
Exactly.
You can execute something that I couldn't execute. Yeah, they would tell me this route over and over, but it took somebody else to execute that route. So I understand that. I get it.
Yeah. So maybe, man, that would have definitely been interesting to see, because you know what Michael Jackson would have been had he just said, okay, I'm just gonna fall back. I'm not performing anymore. Just what I want to do. People, it's ironic that I'm gonna compare him to this guy because of the troubles. He would have been R. Kelly.
Yeah, I can see that. Oh, absolutely, because they were going to want to come. It was either I'm going to go to Babyface or I'm coming to Michael Jackson.
Right.
Yeah.
He could have been like R. Kelly, because R. Kelly, I don't know if he could play instruments and things of that nature, but he could definitely write and he could definitely sing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think so. I mean, even from the small things that I've seen, like that last one they put together called This Is It. And then just looking at, we watched We Are the World documentary. Or even when they showed the Jacksons and he was recording Off the Wall, so it was one of those things where he's giving direction. He has ideas. So I'm sure he would have. I mean, I felt like he probably would. He made, if he stopped performing, yeah, he's just right. Yeah,
yeah. I totally agree. Because once you're a musician, you're a musician. Whether you're a vocal musician or a physical musician, you're a musician and a music lover. I mean, when you reach that pinnacle, even just imagine. This is why I said we need to stop saying compare this to that and accept this for what it is. Michael Jackson has written songs that were hit songs for other people, even though they weren't smash hits and one of the greatest. But I remember 40 years ago, maybe even like 42 years ago, when he wrote that song for Rockwell. I always feel like somebody's
Hey, Michael Jackson ain't singing backup to nobody.
Right.
So the fact that he's singing backup, that's a big deal, man. That's
a gigantic deal.
Huge. Yeah. I was like, Michael ain't singing backup to nobody, man. Stop it.
So let's get back to the movie. Yeah. One of the things that is impressive about this is the interaction with Black men about the dating scene, the dating pool, the things that we are interested in. When you got the friend dynamic, you got David Alan Grier, you got Martin Lawrence and Eddie. They are at lunch, and it's this is one of the things. This is truly a cultural thing because I mean, I've never been a white man, so I can't really speak from that perspective. But I've worked around several white men and in several corporate situations. Yeah. I've never seen a president and two underlings have lunch unless they were being rewarded.
Right.
But in Black culture, we will gravitate towards our community at all costs, subconsciously or consciously. And I really appreciated that. What did you think about that dynamic?
I like that because I mean he was conversing with Chris Rock in the mailroom, and he talking, what you doing in my office, man? And just kind of bullshitting, whatever. But yeah, like he said, he got the guys. They knew who Marcus was. He knew who his friends were. He didn't try to play him off and put him down. I thought that was a big deal. So it was definitely one of those things where I love to see that interaction. It's just like, he even told his well, we don't say secretary, but he even said, hey, tell my boys I'm not gonna meet them today for lunch. He still had them as his boys. It's like, I don't care because I'm in this position. We still homies or whatever.
Yeah. And that was something I truly appreciated because it was almost like, hey, I'm in this position.
Yeah.
I'm still me. I'm still Marcus.
Right.
And another thing I appreciated, you didn't have the feeling of being put on. You assumed that Martin Lawrence earned his way.
Right.
David Alan Grier earned his way, but we still boys. I got in front of y'all, but these are still my people. And I really appreciated that. The relationships he had with the guys made the positions available. There you go. Maybe. And these are things in corporate America that are needed to be shown because and the beautiful thing, before I make that point, I'm gonna say the beautiful thing about these positions being available is, he may have put them in the positions, but you never got the feeling that they were put in those positions because they were incapable. They were put in those positions because they were available. They had the talent and they excelled in those positions. And this is something that needs to be shown. The point I was going to make initially, this is something that needs to be shown simply because you have people that, well, I'm not going to give you a position just because you're my boy, which is, in my opinion, I think that's a totally wrong way to look at things. Right. I think I am going to put you in this position because you're my boy. I am going to hook you up, and I need you because you are my friend to show up and show out.
Yeah, absolutely.
The first scene, Chris Rock in the mailroom saying, Marcus, you the man, you put me on. Exactly. He let the world know. And like he said, I'll be on time most of the time, even when it rains. He's just saying, hey man, you gave me the greatest opportunity of my life. And I think, I'm appreciative to it.
Honestly, to that point, that scene went beyond Boomerang. because Chris Rock talks about how Eddie Murphy was who he looked up to. So that line, hell, who even knows it was the line in the movie? He may have just threw it. He may have threw it out there. Yeah, he could have improv it. But yeah, no, absolutely, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
It was a cool touch to Halle Berry. Yeah. And something else. Speaking of Halle Berry, we were talking about her beauty and how she excelled in her beauty.
Yeah.
One of the wonderful things was, as I'm gonna let you. You know what? I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm gonna give you the floor because that was an excellent point you made before we got on.
Yes. When I saw this and I was watching it, I got some vibes from House Party because it was one of those things where Tisha Campbell's character was liking Kid, Halle Berry was liking Marcus, but Robin Givens' character was, I think I kind of like Marcus, but I'm gonna play him, whatever, here and there, and I'm gonna I ain't gonna play him close, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna lead him on a little bit because he came up to me when I was reading the magazine. So I felt like there was some House Party comparisons there a little bit because it was just one of those things where it was like she was, why are you dogging it? Why are you doing Marcus like that? Hey, Marcus, it's affecting his work. What you doing to Marcus? Mm-hmm. So I definitely was getting some Kid and Play kind of House Party vibes. Then I realized, I'm like, it's from the same director, which I love how because I'm wondering if he sprinkled that in, if somebody would notice. Is that done on purpose? Who knows? And it was one of those things where I caught that. I was like, man, I'm getting some House Party vibes from this.
I'm looking up House Party right now. Keep going. I'm looking up House Party right now.
I'm kind of getting those vibes from like these characters, but it was from a corporate standpoint, not a high school standpoint. It was more like the business world. So when I was watching it, I just kept getting those House Party vibes from the way he had wrote the lines, and I'd be curious to watch if he had like a documentary or if somebody asked him a question, but I don't know if there's any video. I hadn't went and found any videos on him, but definitely as I was watching it, I was getting those vibes from it. I don't know if anybody caught that.
Until you mentioned it, it didn't register with me as well, but it was a beautiful situation to whereas, again, a cultural thing when you have a person who, hey, I may not have a shot at this person, and this person may be it might be above my pay grade. But what I'm going to do is because we are a family, I'm going to not allow you to ruin this person because you moved past him. And I really appreciate it.
And another thing, as I'm talking about this, Tisha Campbell's character was playing the Witherspoon role, where he was like, "What y'all doing making all this noise? Y'all need to be at home." And then it's like now she's the one, she's the neighbor. So
man, you connected dots that I didn't even see.
It just kind of stood out to me like that. I'm like, man, this is very kind of House Party, but on a adult level, on a corporate world level, not a high school level. But yeah, I mean, I just saw those things, and I'm just curious, like where his mind was when him and Eddie Murphy sat down and put this together. So.
And then something else that it shows, you said it's on a more adult level, and it also shows you no matter what age you are, you have the exact same things reoccurring, no matter what, whether you're in high school and chasing around girls, and then in adult life, you're doing the exact same thing with almost a spiritual thing. You continue to do the same thing until you get it right.
Right. Absolutely.
Which leads us to, I think the movie was also inspiration to watch.
Absolutely.
Those who watch it. Most definitely. This is a truly inspirational film.
Big career move. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because we're the same age group. We're the same age. But you're looking at a situation too, whereas we hadn't seen anything, like we said at the top of the program, we hadn't seen corporate people from their perspective,
because when you watch these movies, when you were in the Richard Gere era or you were in the Michael Douglas area, like you said, white corporate America, they weren't showing you black corporate America. They weren't showing you black people in these positions. There may have been one guy sprinkled in here and there. So when you saw these things, yeah, it was huge.
Oh man, that's a good point. Tisha Campbell represented the level. Man, I need my damn glasses.
Yeah,
Tisha represented the level Marcus was on when he was given a chance, and then as his career moved up, she was no longer worthy of his time. Maybe you know what, Jungle? I wouldn't go that far. Where I would go with this is this. Tisha Campbell was representative of that mistake a lot of us have made. We went out with somebody
like,
and they were just not for us, and they didn't want to let it go. And that's why we put Tisha Campbell. We've all dated that one person that there's just you go.
Like, that was my neighbor.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah.
I was like, we should have just stayed friends, that kind of thing.
Like, I've experienced it, and I've always been blessed enough to dodge that bullet. When I used to live on Kenmore, 5133 North Kenmore to be exact. Yeah. And it was this lady next door. She's a very attractive lady, and she started talking to me, and I'm like, yeah. And it was there, and this was after this movie came out, but that movie wasn't in my mind. Yeah. And I said to myself, "Nah, B, it's not gonna work." And then every day she was knocking on my door. "Hey, what's up, Brian? You want to hang out?" I was like, "Nah."
Yeah. No. Oh no. I get it. It's definitely one of those things where it's just like, you know what? I'm gonna have to pull back from this one. Yeah.
The Matrix.
Yeah.
You put yourself in a situation, and it's been a lot of times where myself and other men have taken a chance on that, and some people have children after that, and other people have just had a nuisance after that. I knew one dude who literally had to file sexual harassment against someone because they didn't want to let it go.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh boy.
So I think it's more Tisha Campbell was toxic, and he might have even jumped the fence at some point.
Oh yeah,
But it was like, nah, you bad.
Yeah. I mean, even they had a little moment where it was kind of like, "Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, man. She must have left you." He's like, "Yeah," but then it's like, "You want to come in for a cup of coffee?"
Hey, the comeback with that, she's like, "You want?" And that man said, "Not even if Jesus was born."
Yeah.
So yeah. I think it was more her toxic behavior, more than a level,
right?
Which leads me back to another portion. When you mentioned the Halle Berry, you and I mentioned that when Halle Berry even had the wherewithal to understand that this might be out of her league, she didn't start being toxic. She started attempting to assist, and he returned that volley by saying, "You know what, my boy might be perfect for you."
Yeah,
it really made, again, this is the way the world should work. This is a perfect world scenario, and I really appreciate that. Expound on that, please.
Yeah, I felt like it was one of those things where, hey, I know my boy's good for it, and I know how he thinks and how he and what he's looking for. I see some things that may be attributes in you that he can relate and get with. And but on the flip side, Halle Berry was like, "Hey, Marcus got some things that, he might be a womanizer, he might be a player, he might be, but under that, I know, he can love and settle down, come across the right one." But even one of those things, like she told Robin Gibbons' character, she's like, What are you doing to him? You gotta, what's up, man? Because he's not himself, And then of course Robin Gibbs like, "Excuse me, like what are you talking about?" So it was definitely one of those things where to see him kind of, like you say, volley that, like, "Hey, my boy over here, right now I'm kind of chasing something else, but my guy right here, you guys may have something in common, might hit it off. Y'all two might, go from there and see what you got." So. Yeah, it wasn't those, like, she didn't say, "Nah, man, my boy ain't gonna be interested in you." Like, he wasn't like putting it down. he wasn't tearing her down. He like, hey, why don't you get with my guy over here? You know, kind of. You know, right. Yeah, absolutely. So I like to see it.
Which shows, I've been insanely critical about Sister Halle Berry in regards to her acting chops. I honestly believe this is one of her best roles ever.
I think she did well in this. I think she did well. Even the look. I mean, just she did everything well in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think she did well.
And this movie is a perfect example. I would take it back to what you said. This is a prepubescent angle of life.
Yeah.
You ignore what's good for you and you chase what you want. And
exactly. Yeah.
If you about glory be to God, if that person has the patience to wait on you, you win. But ultimately, more times than not, we miss that boat. And I want to say what's up to Golden Brooks. Thank you for tapping me. Hit that like. Everybody hit them likes. Hit that thumbs up.
Even there.
Hit that thumbs up. And if you haven't, please subscribe to BS3 Network. But they're changing the way you watch TV.
Two cats. But yeah, I mean, even their friendships was like, man, you couldn't really like separate them, because they were even building a friendship that was very believable, and just like, man, they really hitting it off on all these levels. I think even the friendship was dope.
Exactly. And this is the true essence of a relationship. We can be friends and it develops into something else. And that's what truly make relationships work. When you can be silly, when you can be funny, when you can laugh at each other. And a lot of times we look something right in the face and look right over it. And this movie has so many layers that I really appreciate it. Comment by Big Mo, he said Martin Lawrence, Grace Jones, Eartha Kitt, Godfrey Holder made this movie funny.
Yes, man. Gosh, man, yes.
Which brings me to another situation to commend our brother Eddie Murphy. This is a perfect example of who Eddie Murphy is. Salute to Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey was in an interview once, and Steve Harvey made a statement. And again, I'm a gigantic Eddie Murphy fan. So you don't need to say anything good about Eddie Murphy to me. But it really made me grow, my fandom explode on Eddie Murphy. And when he said Eddie Murphy, I don't know if this number is accurate, but I'm going to go with this number. He said Eddie Murphy is responsible for about 80% of the people in Hollywood, Black people in Hollywood. This movie is a perfect example of that. Eddie Murphy, before Red Fox died, you had Della Reese and Eddie Murphy on a CBS TV show. Eddie Murphy put his uncles on. Eddie Murphy put his brothers on. People don't realize that Charlie Murphy is an extra in Harlem Nights.
Yes.
He's one of the dudes in Harlem Nights. His brother Vernon is an extra in Harlem Nights. Eddie Murphy has always grabbed other people. It's this one guy who's in just about every Eddie Murphy movie between, I want to say, up until about Nutty Professor going back. He's a little dark-skinned guy. He was in Trading Places. His only line in Trading Places was, "Tell us how you cut him." He was also the dude who said, "You ain't met no Martin Luther King."
Oh yeah.
The backstory on that little dude is, he told Eddie Murphy in the hallway in high school, "Man, you gonna make it." They've been friends since.
That's ever since. Yeah.
So Eddie, this shows you the genius and the communal mindset of Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, because that I mean, look at the wins. I mean, just putting people on, and I mean, we could say that. I guess. I mean, I don't watch a lot of Tyler Perry things, but I'm sure Tyler Perry does these things. I can't imagine he doesn't, especially with all the TV shows he's had and the plays and the movies he's had. Definitely, I would assume. But I would love, like we mentioned earlier at the top of the hour, I'd love to see, even if it's 50 Cent in his new studio, but man, if Robert Townsend or Eddie Murphy has these ideas locked in or written down, I would love to see some kind of collaboration somewhere. I mean, I can't imagine. Or even Spike Lee getting back into the ring, which I don't think he's out of. I mean, I'm sure he's got things that have been written and kind of left on the shelf. But yeah, like if Hollywood is going nuts, we've got our own Black Hollywood.
Hey, if they can do it in Nigeria, they can do it in Korea. You can do it in
absolutely. I have to say, shout out to Netflix, because Netflix keeps me with these African TV shows and these movies and these actors I have no idea about, and I love watching these movies. I love representing and kind of keeping those in my Rolodex, if you will. Hey, I'm interested.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. If you get a chance, watch this movie on Netflix called Sankofa. Chef's Kiss.
Check it out.
Speaking of that, John Witherspoon, Mo mentioned, and of course, John Witherspoon. John Witherspoon is a direct descendant of Richard Pryor's comedy show.
Yes.
He was around then. He used to open up for people. John Witherspoon, I saw the aforementioned Robert Townsend on Questlove Supreme show, and he mentioned that people like John Witherspoon on a handshake deal did a Hollywood Shuffle for nothing.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm gonna pay you when I get the big money for it. And everybody who did it, they said, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And they did it. So John Witherspoon, no matter who he is and where he is and how you view him, we should salute John Witherspoon, because John Witherspoon was around in the 70s with the Richard Pryor show. He was around in the 80s doing Hollywood Shuffles. It's the 90s, him and Eddie Murphy making moves. And then the Wayans brothers, they were there. So, and the Wayans were every step of the way. At one point, they called themselves the Black Pack, like the Brat Pack.
Yeah.
They were the Black. So, salute to these guys. Let me see what's this. BB Drake. BB Drake is another person. David, yes, BB Drake. For those who don't know who BB Drake is, BB Drake is Martha from Martin. She was Savannah Williams, Big Daddy Williams' girlfriend. She's a lady. She's been a bunch of people. She's always loud. She's always obnoxious. But I've seen her in an interview recently on YouTube. Yeah. She is a very, very pleasant individual.
Absolutely.
Another person who was around in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and she's still around now. So salute to BB Drake.
I told you the chitlin didn't stink.
Yeah. Which takes us to the very next scene. As Eddie Murphy and Halle Berry's friendship develops, they become a little crew. Again, we continue to make ourselves a community. We're going to be corporate. We're going to do all these big things. We're going to make all this money. But guess what? At the end of the day, we're going to have a Sunday meal together, which is the essence of Black America. And this is when we are introduced to a person who I've mentioned on the show before, John Witherspoon, and his part. He is only in this movie because of Eddie Murphy. The people who produced this movie said, no, we don't want John Witherspoon. Eddie Murphy put John Witherspoon on a plane, didn't give him no lines, and said, go. And that's why we got bang, 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 and coordinate and all that. Talk to me about what you think about John Witherspoon and the development of that.
Baby, your rabbit falling apart. We'll get some earrings and coordinate. I think it's awesome. I think it's needed. It's a bookend to Eddie Murphy's comedy. I mean, I can imagine if he could get Richard Pryor on there, but maybe Richard Pryor was, I don't know what was happening there, but it was one of those things where just seeing John Witherspoon, and even with Ice Cube reaching out to John Witherspoon, knowing that in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he was the dad that somebody Will was dating. So it was definitely how they kept his recognition going in the Wayans brothers family. It's just love seeing John Witherspoon do his thing. I mean, just in his lane and just letting him do it. And honestly, it was kind of like Eddie Murphy in what was it? The one we did on Netflix. It was kind of like Who's Coming to Dinner, but it was like
those people.
You
people, something of that nature. Yeah.
How Eddie Murphy kind of took a back seat in these movies and let the other actors kind of flourish. And I feel like John Witherspoon was the same way. It's like, hey, I'm just here to bring up the rear, man. But I love to see what y'all doing. I love this idea of the comedy. Come on, man. Who doesn't? You're in the presence of In Living Color alumni. So it was one of those David Alan Grier's in there. So it was just one of those things where I love to see that. And it's kind of like you got the master in his craft, So that was awesome. I love to see it. Then of course BB Drake doing her thing.
BB Drake, Don Witherspoon, and everybody was in this cast. A Nasty Nelson, I don't know his name. I know him as a 7-Up guy, and the guy from the Live and Let Die James Bond movie. That's where I know him from. But again, Eddie Murphy is doing Hollywood the way Black people should do Hollywood. Tyler Perry is doing Hollywood the way you should do Hollywood. And I really appreciate the fact that mainstream media tries to kick, they try to drag Eddie Murphy's name in the mud, and they try to diss Tyler Perry because he doesn't use union workers. But guess what? The only reason you need unions is because when you're paying people below what they should be made,
right?
Paying above a union means absolutely nothing.
You get away with paying them pennies.
Yeah. Right. The concept of minimum wage, meaning if I'm gonna pay you as little as I legally can. Yeah. This is America. We got Pastor Dodd in the building. Thanks for tapping in. Please hit that like, hit that share, tell a friend and tap in. And thank you for all the comments and everybody in this. John Witherspoon said he only got 25,000 for Friday. But you know what? That's you know what? This is a movie. See, let me segue. Let me take that segue. $25,000 for Friday. I want us to realize had Ice Cube held his own, stood his ground, Ice Cube would be Tyler Perry right now. And why do I say that? Ice Cube allowed the big production company to swoop in and pay for Friday. And now he's making money into perpetuity on Friday. Yeah. But if he would have just had them distribute Friday, Ice Cube with Friday, next Friday, and Friday after next, and a couple Fridays down the road, Good Friday, and all the other Fridays he made, all Fridays. He would be standing right next to our brother Tyler Perry, our brother Loose Change, aka 50 Cent. No disrespect, 50. Don't go in on me.
Don't come at me, man. Don't come at me.
Right, don't come at me, man. I'm just I don't want no problem with 50, man. You see Big Meech in trouble with him now. But
already?
Yeah. Meech was hanging out with Rick Ross, and if you rocking with 50, you can't be rocking with
him. You can't be. Yeah.
So, but and that's what I'm talking about. You can pay somebody $25,000, and just to be a bit part of the movie, it's a low budget situation, and it just blow up. Like I was gonna say something else. Shout out to Biggie Smalls. If you know who Biggie Smalls is, you know what I was gonna say. But then it's gonna blow up like a Jack in the Box.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
But this is our genius, continuing to be our genius on display. As we continue to matriculate through the movie, this is when Eddie Murphy finally gets what he's been running after the entire movie. He gets the prize. He goes to New Orleans. He finally seduces the character that's played by Robin Givens. And now this is when you put yourself, my grandfather used to say this: play silly games, you get goofy prizes. And this was the goofy prize he got. Talk to me about it.
He kept playing that game. He kept playing with the mousetrap. She laying the cheese and said, "Okay, man, look, man, this ain't what you want, but you think you want it." But man. So it was definitely one of those. He wanted the perfect woman. He felt like Robin Givens' character was the perfect woman. Mm-hmm. But Boomerang, in its essence, when she wasn't returning his phone calls, had him waiting by the phone, didn't check in because, I paid $500 for whatever it was for these tickets. Mm-hmm. I was calling you. Now all of a sudden you want to show up. Mm-hmm. But Eddie, that's what you've been doing, So definitely a moment of Boomerang. It was pretty crazy seeing, because he thought, we'll be alone. We out of town. Yeah, we're away on business, but we also having pleasure. When we get back, I still seal the deal. And then she's like, Marcus, pretty much, hey, whatever happened in the boot, Nolans, it stays there, baby. Yeah. We back to work, man.
In the words of the great podcast host Nori, I'm gonna need you to relax.
Exactly. I'm gonna need you to relax, man. She's like, you didn't think, so it's kind of like, you got hit in the nose, it's like, dang, wake up, man, because you're losing your grip. you were a hard stone cold player. Now all of a sudden you're bringing your guard down for that beautiful woman. She's empowered.
Mm-hmm.
She's empowering both ways, in the bedroom and at work. But she was putting it on him.
This is the dictionary definition of reaping what you sow. Because he had put that much negative energy out there. Her feet were not right. This girl wasn't smart enough. This girl wasn't there. But you know what? And I've learned this the hard way. Sometimes the person that punches you right in the face with reality is the person that will wake you up and make you realize that's who is for you. Because you know, sometimes it's like a whooping, man. With your parents.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
you don't like it at the time, but I used to tell my children this on a regular basis because I was the bad cop in my house. Hey, at some point, and I used to literally tell my children this, at some point, you're going to find a benefit of having a jerk-ass dad. And it's times for both of them have called me within the last 7 to 10 days. And they told me the story, and I went, see how easy that was? Jerk-ass. And this is the lesson that Eddie Murphy had. And you know what? Here's something that somebody mentioned this in another film that I was watching. Oh, I was watching Kenyon Martin, and he mentioned not having a father, and George Carl attacked him. But if you notice, Eddie Murphy don't bring up his parents. Nope. And the most grounded person in this is David Alan Grier's character. Yeah. Martin, he's in corporate, wants to be hood. Eddie is corporate, but
he has time for
David Alan Grier has substance, he has style, he has intelligence, and he's balanced. And maybe he don't like his parents, but guess what? His parents put him where he is, and that's why he's as successful as he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, that's right.
The tables are turned. Yeah. Hey. Another thing from my grandfather. There ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
Hey, not at all.
Rabbit, gun, bang. You know.
So, yeah.
Okay.
The prey becomes the prey.
Now, not only did she knock his boots, she wouldn't told everybody you had a hold. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
She took off on him and embarrassed him beyond belief. Like any women in this world have been embarrassed by men. And now again, this is a double entendre. This is not only showing you, Eddie Murphy got his, but if you are a thinking man, you go, how many times have you done that?
Right. Yeah. He got checked twice in this movie. He got checked by David Alan Grier. Mm-hmm. He got, well, maybe a few more times, but then he got checked by pretty much Robin Givens. Then Halle Berry checked him. So
gave him the ultimate check
3 times. So maybe more than that. But yeah, he got checked pretty much. Like, hey man, wake up, baby. You know, the world is not built and revolving around markets, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
off the screen. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
man. And see, this leads him into spiraling. This takes him out of, and this is how many. You know, this is the development of the quote unquote angry black woman, because you had something in front of you. You had a diamond, and you treated that diamond like it was trash. And I don't care who you are. You could be the toughest dude in the world. You could be, you could be hard body. But when people play with your feelings, it brings a rough exterior. You put shell on, and you ain't really trying to hit it.
Right. I'm not trying to hear that mess you talking.
Yeah. Dudes will perpetrate the role when I'm hard, but I know some of the hardest dudes, and they come up with, I don't love these H's. And B's ain't ish. And y'all saying that because you done got your drawers kicked clean in your behind.
Exactly.
You played the game, and she had a crossover and took it to the back.
Well, she thinks she is talking to me like that.
Yeah. And that's why, I'm not saying it's okay, but that's why a lot of these chumps be putting their hands on women.
Oh, absolutely.
Women turn the tables, and now your feelings hurt. And I don't care who you are. That mirror is the most powerful thing in the world. What I mean by that mirror, when a woman says, "Look at you, look at you,"
oh yeah, because she's exposing you now. But like he's like to Jungle Brothers' point, she done ran back to the office. She kissing and telling.
Yeah,
yeah, man.
Indeed, yeah. She put him out there, and then again, in true black woman fashion, what does she do? She come and Halle Berry comes along and picks up the pieces. And again, it starts off as a friendship.
That's why I said it was very kid and play house party. It kind of that's how I felt.
Yeah. Oh wow! No comment on that.
Slow down, Ghost. Going on the gas tonight. Slow down, Ghost.
And you get your feelings hurt. You get your and this is something that a lot of black men won't even acknowledge. But it's always that aunt, that sister, that friend. Pick up the pieces, that put the pieces back together. They see it's a piece to your puzzle laying on the ground over there. It's a piece to your puzzle laying on the ground over there. And they'll put you back together and put you out there. And it's just, we need to acknowledge this. And Eddie Murphy and the people who put this film together really touched into this. And a lot of people use it as humor. A lot of people saw fashion, but this is also life.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think you pretty much. Yeah, I think you pretty much kind of touched that one. You got that one wrapped up.
And now this friendship develops with Marcus and Halle Berry. Maybe we should have took down their names and then we can use the real names. But the character played by Eddie Murphy and Halle Berry, she puts them back together. And not only did he return the form, he went even higher, which made him more attractive to and this happens all the time. How many times have we seen, again, this is the table's turn. How many times have we seen the girl who we dumped on with a dude who we think is less than, and her smile smile so big, look like you could take the top of her head off. And now, I've seen cats want to fight cats about that. And again, this goes back into the communal thing. This is when you need friends. This is when you need brothers, when you need uncles and mentors to say, stall him out. No, sir.
Yeah. Keep him where he at. Make him grovel. Don't take him back so fast.
Yeah. Robin was Jackie. Holly was Angela. Thank you, Jungle Brothers. Thank you for the assistance. Mike Williams.
Yeah, man, because I ain't keeping up with those names, man.
I ain't keeping up with man. Tito, what's good, man?
Appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate the help because I wasn't keeping up with no names.
Eddie Murphy and Halle Berry, that's their names.
Yeah.
But this again, it puts things in perspective. It makes you realize when you're a mature enough adult, you can watch this movie and go, whoa, yeah. You know what? Speaking of which, one of our next throwbacks, I'm gonna make a suggestion here on air, and then we can talk about it in our fist fight. Speaking of emotionally touching and men getting emotional, I want to do John Q at some point, man.
Oh, hey, definitely, absolutely. That movie is still relevant to this day.
Yes, we got to do John Q at some point because that was a movie that duck boy. I remember at the movies like this.
Yeah.
Home crack show. My friend was like, I'm not home crack.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, God.
Wow.
And I'd have popped somebody too. But I don't know if I'd be ready to pop myself.
Right.
But yeah, man. So, and again, and true, Eddie Stumble, Eddie. Hey, and that's why he's won. Yeah. But and this is Eddie gets to a point where he gets back on his feet, and now I'm above everything else.
Yeah.
And he makes the fatal flaw that I've seen. And I've advised people, nah, dog, you better do your thing. You better,
Yeah.
Men do this. A lot of men do this. Back, you're not good enough. Yeah. I know people who actually use this terminology. Yeah, that's cool for you.
Yeah, right. Like they're immediately shutting that noise down. Like,
talk to me about the redemption, the return to power, and then the transfer from what you need to what you want.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's a big deal. It's important because I think it's an awakening because you realize that what I wanted, what I was so hell bent and determined, it wasn't always good for me. It took a few people to keep telling me, "Somebody cries better on Philly." Yes. That's true. But yeah, I think it was one of those things where he realized, you know what? I've been knocked upside the head by a few people verbally, telling me to get my shit together. And even before that, it was, man, what did you do? Marcus he's confident again, and he's laughing, and now here Robin Givens is trying to, or Jacqueline for y'all, trying to seduce him again and trying to tell him, stroking his ego, and this is the Marcus I met at the elevator or whatever, and all that. So it was definitely, now she's trying to give him that, you know what? I don't really need Angela's character. I don't need Halle Berry's character, because now it's like you're building me back up to where at this precipice where I was originally, and I can be. But then all of a sudden, when they had their little spat, and she's like, "What's happening? What's wrong? I'm in love with somebody." And then she's trying to play that game again. Well, what are you doing here? And he's like, "Exactly, you're right.
Exactly. What am I doing?"
So it was one of those things where it was the rise and fall, and then you rise again. So it was awesome to see that, because he realized that, you know what, she don't have to be perfect. I thought she needed to be perfect and powerful, but she's powerful in her own way. I mean, she left and got to start her own business. I mean, she even with teaching the kids, she was still in a position of power. She was pouring into the kids and making them feel comfortable. And once again, just seeing that, teaching the black kids about art and doing things like that. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was nice.
Look at this clown. I ain't it's the bedroom. I'm done with this guy.
Come on, man. Out of bounds, man.
It's on the next show. It's on the next show, Warren.
Yeah.
But man, I really appreciate everybody just participating. The comments have been awesome. Please keep them coming. Everybody but Warren. But yeah, man. And this is something that you start to realize as you get older. You protect yourself from this and that and this and that, and not realizing sometimes that punch to the face will help you keep that right up. Well, I'm left-handed, so for y'all left, but keep that right up.
Either way, right jab, left jab.
Yeah. You keep your arm up. You keep the arm up.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like I recently had a conversation with somebody. They're not, and I shared something I learned literally 18 years ago. You have to, even when you're not angry, if you walk around ready to fight, and see how, to quote my pastor, shout out to Pastor Doc, you got your hands balled up. You got a blessing in your hand.
Can't receive.
And that's what a lot of men, including myself, have done in their entire lives. And we walk around with our hands balled up, and then a lot of people equate the balled up hand as anger, but what it is actually protection. Like, you know what? The next time somebody puts on me, I'm gonna punch you in your mouth.
Yeah.
I'm not really angry. I'm just ready in my mind. I'm just ready, and you may not even feel that anger, but you got to do this. Open your hand, then the blessing fall in your hand, and it has fallen in my hand. What's up, Poe? Good to see you. Thank you for the support. Poe support me all the time. It's really appreciated. Hey, and if you are watching, tap in with Poe. Hit that follow on Poe. Even Warren, aka Jungle Brother, that guy. But continue to support each other. So we, like, again, as Will said, if Hollywood can do stuff, we can do the same kinds of things.
Absolutely.
And this is a picture perfect example, no pun intended, on how we can make things work. Because the beauty in this is, it wasn't a $400 million movie. It wasn't a blockbuster worldwide. But it's not, I don't know 10 people that can't quote 15 lines from this movie.
And honestly, when I saw this movie, when I remember the billboards as a kid and seeing Eddie Murphy, it was like, dang, another hit. And I wasn't watching it. It was for adults, but I still watched it when it came out on VHS. But it was, when I saw it, I was like, oh, Eddie Murphy. Oh, what is this about? And then I saw the names and the women tied to. I was like, Eddie Murphy is doing his thing again. So and I haven't even watched it yet. Even the billboard was attractive. It was just like, the man's at it again. He's doing it again. Clean cut. He's got the bow tie on. He got the suit. You got the woman, the lady's hand pulling the bow. I mean, it's like, come on, man. It's what Eddie does, man.
Man, shout out to Eddie Murphy's mother and his father, because these are things that have to be put into you by your parents. This is, some of us may do it, but look, I have a ton of respect for Will Smith, but I've yet to see the Will Smith project with a ton of us in it, and I'm not knocking him for it.
Yeah, but still,
Eddie, but look, Eddie Murphy. So let's go back to, at the beginning of his career, you have Trading Places and 48 Hours. He didn't have the power. He wasn't Eddie Murphy at that time.
Yeah.
He was able to do it. The first chance he puts Damon Wayans in the movie.
Yeah.
And I heard the story behind that. It was a story, him and Keenan playing together. He didn't know Damon. Damon was acting like that character in the movie. He put him in that. And then as you gain power, you got Trading Places. Coming to America. There's a bunch of us in that.
Yeah, you gaining traction.
Yeah, he gaining traction. You got Cuba Gooding Jr. People don't realize one of the people getting their haircut in the barbershop is Cuba Gooding Jr.
Didn't notice.
Cuba Gooding Jr. is sitting there just with the stupid smile on his face. Cuba Gooding Jr. Then he goes to Harlem Nights. He runs the gamut.
The plethora of comedians and
what's his name? Ronaldo Ray. All these guys.
Yeah.
And then even you see the rebirth even in the 2K, the rebirth of Wesley Snipes, and they call me Dolomite. All the brothers, the Keenan Peele guy, and that all those brothers in that. Even the movie I didn't enjoy at all. But Coming to America too, it's a plethora of us.
Yeah, but I didn't really care. But again, it's Eddie doing Eddie. I mean,
yes. And Tyler does the same thing. And Cedric Denner, maybe it's a comedic thing, because Cedric the Entertainer, I recently discovered his show, The Neighborhood. And he has Earthquake on there. He has Glenn Thurman on there. He has Jackée Harry on there. He has,
I don't watch that show. I've only watched like maybe something here and there the first season, but it's doing very well for CBS.
7 years. Which means he's doing the thing. She's high. Thank you, Poe. Get him, Poe. What was not said by Grace Jones and some people? What's that oatmeal? What is it? Oh, it was the oatmeal cookie.
Here's one thing that I noticed: that scene when she left, they were going after Grace Jones in the limousine, the Mercedes. They were lightly playing Grace Jones' song. Pull Up to My Bumper.
Pull up to my bump. They were kind of playing the melody of that song, and I was just like, how they sprinkled that in a little bit like that. I was just like, that's 2 checks for Grace Jones in this movie.
Yeah,
he will get you paid. It continues to be an example. So I remember when Spike and Eddie fell out. That was one of the things. you don't have enough black directors. You need to be doing movies with black people. Well, I don't have to do movies with black people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put people. And you know what? The most egregious mistake I made tonight is, besides the way I just read Pastor Don's statement.
We got you.
Life.
Yeah.
How many people in life? You know, you had Bokeem Woodbine.
Gosh, you had Bernie Mac was in there.
Anthony Anderson. Guy Torrey.
You had a bunch of people in life. Once again, him and Martin doing something again. You know? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just Eddie, like you said, he's going to tap into, hey, I think you'd be great for this role. I got something for you, you know, and here it is. Yeah, I need to watch The Neighborhood.
You do. I'm telling you.
I need to watch it
from the beginning. It gets kind of annoying sometimes.
I mean, it looks great. It's just that I fell off with watching stuff, and like I said, I watched the first season. Like when it first got started, I was watching it kind of like, oh, what's this? You know, I hope it does well. And here we are, 7 seasons later, and CBS. I mean, it's blowing up. You know, it's killing it. So yeah, I need to jump on that.
It's a wonderful show. I put like this. In the last 3 months, I've watched all 7 years. All 7 seasons.
Yeah, you putting in work. I think the Sons, they're doing a spinoff. The Sons are getting a show.
I figured that was gonna happen. I figured that was gonna happen.
Yeah, I saw a spinoff.
And look, just to show you how cool it is. One of their I forgot their last name, but one of their sons' name is Malcolm, and the other son's name is Martin.
Of course.
And here's the even better part. The one that name is Martin, his name is Martin Lawrence. That's his real name.
Wow. Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, man. It's a great show. But as Ben would say at this time, life is a good movie. Yes. It is.
Probably have to do that throwback eventually.
Yeah, we have to. We gonna do throwbacks. Life, we can't do anything without life. We can't do anything without doing life. And we're gonna do this. Final thoughts.
Great movie, man. It holds up well. It holds like I said, every time I see it. Woman empowerment, corporate achievements with Black people, you know, including Black people, and it's just one of those things where the fashion, the music, being they're on nobody in here that I know, nobody was on drugs, nobody was selling ass, nobody was drinking 40s, homeless on the street. I mean, you know, I get it, but they weren't showing you that. They were just trying to push, hey, this is a positive thing. This is a business-minded thing. This is a lighthearted. This is a heavy-hearted thing. You know, so I got it. It was nice. You know, so I felt. I mean, you had shows. Just think, this movie was in line with some of the big sitcoms that were just kind of getting started or becoming giants. You know, so yeah, definitely, I enjoyed it. I every time I probably didn't even have to watch it to review it tonight, but I went ahead and watched it because I've seen it so many times, and seeing things I didn't see before and kind of catching things. So yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I have to, if we're doing a mic rating, gosh, I want to say a 5, but I think I'm going to say 4.5 mics.
Okay. My final thoughts are exactly yours. I appreciate it. And one of the things that kind of turned me off for certain shows is they go over the top with Black excellence. Yeah. You know, like, you know, they would never show his father, David Alan Grier's father.
Yeah.
This covered every aspect of life: success, love, failure, relationships, whether it be romantic or friendships. It covered everything. You saw the guy from the mailroom being relatable. You saw the guy mid-level executive, and David Alan Grier and Martin being successful. You saw all these beautiful Black women doing their thing throughout the movie.
Yes.
And even when Eddie and Robin Gibbons or what's the lady name? They had a name on that somewhere. I don't know. Jacqueline. Even when they fell out, there was no tension in the room. Eddie was having issues, and he left the issues inside of himself. Everybody knew what was going on, but it disrupted his work, which shows his human side. And it was a wonderful situation. And I too will give it a 4.5 mics because this was well written, well performed, well directed, well put together. It was visually, it was a great sound, and for once, I paid attention to every aspect of this movie. Which you know what, I'm going to give it a 5.
Nice.
Yeah, give it
nice, absolutely. Oh, absolutely, Golden, absolutely.
They let the supporting cast carry this. The comedy, the star, really were acting. And you know what? I never thought about that. Thank you, Mo. And definitely not the way they want us portrayed.
Absolutely, Golden. Absolutely.
And this is something if we ever start thinking as a community, if we start taking the big money, see, sometimes you have to dictate what your success is. What me and Ben do with this, I can't speak for Ben, but I'm a speak a piece for Ben. Like my passion is my passion. You know, my passion is uplifting the community, but my true passion is doing my interviews, one-on-one interviews, and introducing people, which I've lined up several, and they're on the way. But if it's easy for me to say this now. You know, I'm in financial. I'm not in the greatest financial situation, but because I'm not in the greatest financial situation, if somebody offered me a big pile of money, I'd be forced to take it. But the way everything has been moving with me of late, I can honestly say I'm willing to say no to the CBSs, the ESPNs, and those if I can get to the point where I can take care of my family.
Right.
And because once you take care of your family, I've said this 1,000 times on my program, 1/2 of 1% is all I need. If I can get 1/2 of 1% of the community to support me, understand, even on paper, it's 45 million of us. 1/2 of 1% of 45 million is a boatload of people every time I activate. If I can get that, I can take care of what I need to take care of. I'm good. A lot of times we sell out, we lose our identity chasing that money. Issa Rae has found that out the hard way. She was an awkward Black girl on YouTube, and she was killing it, and she probably made enough money to support herself. And she took the HBO money, and then they started forcing things on her, and she stopped the show.
Yep. They want to take over that creative genius.
Exactly. So with that being said, I'm not sure if Kings and 3 Kings and Queens are coming on tomorrow. I need you to subscribe. Let me go to this portion. I need you guys to subscribe. First, as you see at the bottom of the screen, to BS3 Network, and subscribe to the End of the Bench, the End of the Bench, THAENDOFDABENCH Media. Go visit my website, thesame-thing.com. Go visit my website. Please just tap in. The more you tap in, the better it is for me. If you like our show every Monday and you like my content, you'll be doing yourself a favor tapping in with us every week. I do believe we put on one hell of a program. Me and Wilks, we taking over the world. We about to get some we about to get them other 2 guys.
Get them out there.
We don't need them anymore.
Sweet my way.
We proved that we don't need them. They need us, and if they got anything to say, we here for it.
Reconstructing that contract, man.
Yeah. We renegotiating all deals.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
We'll review them in the morning.
We about to go Luka Doncic to LA.
Yeah, man, real quick, overnight.
We out. Anything y'all don't like, we say, take it up with the man. But with that being said, I don't know how to play the outro music because I damn sure.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Music.
Yeah, they know who we are.
Yeah, man. We the Fourcast. This is Wilks. We the 2 cast. This is Wilks. This is HRap. Two Fingers, One Word, and those other two guys, we suppose we'll let them come back next week.
Supposedly.
And if we don't, me and Wilks will be back right here without them. We're better than that. But thank y'all for the support. See y'all in 167 hours. 166 and a half hours. 167 hours in a week. So talk to you guys next week. This is the Fourcast. Thank you for all y'all support.